Okay, I welcome all of you to Kalalgoda English Medium Retreat. This is the time for a question and answer session. So I invite the person with the written questions.
We have one association and 5 meditation experiences today, and one lady wanted to explain her experiences without writing. So once I can ask. Most Venerable Bhante, much merit to you for uploading the guided meditation session to the Nissarana website. Felt it was the most appropriate time to upload it as it is followed with the Anapanasati sermon. May you achieve all your Dhamma desires in this very life. Venerable Swami Vahansa, I have been practicing Chittanupassana according to instructions received from you 2 months back. Both in sitting and walking meditation, I am able to maintain thoughtless periods regularly, frequently. When a thought comes to be, I try to see it as either as anitya, sankhata or paticca samuppanna. Most of these that I get seem to disappear almost as I become aware of them. Only a few will continue to trail on. I am not sure whether these thoughts trail on because I had been or not been mindful at those times or not. I also have been observing my state of mind these days during regular day-to-day activities. For example, when I have a happy state of mind, I just observe that I am happy, continue to be happy, then observe till this state disappears. Similarly, I observe when my mind is nervous, agitated, anxious, etc. Please advise. Thero Nissarana.
Yeah, in Chittanupassana, actually, you have to watch your mind from the very moment that you wake up and till you go to the night, till you go to the sleep. It's not that you are doing Chittanupassana only in the sitting session or while in the walking session. Rather, you have to watch your mind frequently. You have to guard your mind frequently. Say you are talking with someone, you have to similarly watch the mind. Say you are doing some other thing. Say you are talking with someone, or you are doing some sweeping. Say you are washing dishes or whatever thing. So still you need to watch the mind as well. So that is quite important, because sometimes people think Chittanupassana simply means that you have to watch the mind during the sitting session or during the walking session and then forget about the mind. This is not the situation. So you have to constantly look after the mind. And but on the other hand, so this yogi has mentioned that she or he is experiencing thoughtless moments. That's a good indication that you have fair amount of concentration now. And please check whether what's really happening to those thoughts. According to her or his explanation, was able to see how they are coming and going. So they are impermanent, and how they are somewhat like prepared or fabricated. So the sankhata nature, and again how they are causally conditioned or causally prepared. So the paticca nature. So that is quite important, so that you more and more you recognize these causes. So more and more, say, clear comprehension, what you call as sampajanya, increases, and again wisdom increases, and more you understand. I mean, the more and more the Mara won't be able to delude you, because the wisdom is increasing now. On the other hand, say you can simply keep your mind in a quiet place, in a kind of a equanimity, in case you have experienced that to some extent. So if you like to share whose question of this, right? So please. Yeah. So basically, what I need to understand is, are you able to maintain your mind in sort of pure awareness, in the sort of empty state of the mind for a long time now?
Yes.
For how long? Like if you are in a sitting session, are you able to maintain that for 1 hour? Say 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
Continuously?
Yes, yes.
No, not so continuously 30 minutes, but tiny thoughts
Coming.
disappear.
Right. So they are not bothering you. Bothering you, but you have your own peace of mind.
Yes.
Peace of mind, and say you can maintain that. You are in like a cocoon.
Yes.
So, and sounds are there, sights are there, thoughts are there, but none of them are capable of intruding you, sort of disturbing you. Right. So that you can maintain for 30 minutes. Can?
Even an hour, but not completely thoughtless.
Yes, yes, fine. Now say for example, while you are doing another activity, are you able to maintain your attention on that awareness? Right. Now, how about the typical nature of the mind? Is it constantly like to talk or like to keep quiet?
Mostly, it used to be a very talkative mind. Now
Right.
it's not so talkative. And even if a thought comes, it doesn't just continue. It's just like one or two things and then it disappears.
Right. Again, come back to the awareness.
Yes.
Right. So this is what we need to further nurture, because this pure awareness is something very natural. So basically, this is something very natural, but we lost that due to various defilements. So this pure awareness, sometimes we don't even appreciate. So you can understand. Now this pure awareness does not need to have a very strong concentration. Now say for example, if you have experienced any kind of samatha concentration, say you absorb to some kind of object and you are there and very sort of concentrated and absorbed, and you are completely cut away from the entire world. But this is not like that. So you have your own peace of mind, complete awareness, and you are living in a very comfortable way and friction free, and still none of them are capable of disturbing you. So you have some of your own kind of protection like thing. So, and it doesn't appear like very strong concentration either. Right. So, and more and more you appreciate this nature, more and more you returning back to this nature and sort of nurturing that, and more you may feel sort of quiet. You may feel little less burdened, less hindered, and again say less friction, no stress, no tension. So this is the thing that we need to further and further continue, further and further maintain. As much as possible, you try to maintain this. Are there any techniques that you come across so far to come back to this nature? So what are the techniques? Now suppose...
Usually, I think if I am mindful,
Yeah.
then I can maintain this thoughtless
Stage.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when these thoughts come, I'm still not sure whether that is because of lack of mindfulness on my part or not. I can't really distinguish.
Right.
But once in a while, there is a couple, there will be a thought or two that just keeps...
Drag you away.
Yeah.
Yes.
That happens.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I don't know, for some reason now I started to look at the state of mind like, when I'm anxious, okay, I'm anxious, still anxious.
Good. So that's the thing. So there are different techniques available. So what you have mentioned is several techniques available in Indriya Bhavana Sutta that we have discussed some time ago. And another technique is that applying some kind of a Four Noble Truths approach, where you are sort of looking at yourself. Maybe you are considering your state of mind or considering your bodily state. So any of these have any kind of a tension, you can recognize that as a sort of a unsatisfaction, some kind of unsatisfactoriness or kind of a suffering. And then you can understand what is the cause of suffering. So there may be something that you are expecting. There may be something going wrong which is not according to your desire. There may be something, say, uncomfortable. So likewise, any of these causes are making you little disturbed, little burdened, little tensed, little stressed. So once you recognize that, okay, you simply have to let go. You have to surrender yourself. Okay, doesn't matter. This is more than enough. And coming back to yourself and simply let go of that cause. Once that has been let go of, then you again come back to yourself and just rest further. So as a result, the mind has to become less burdened. As a result, the tension has to be free. As a result, the stress has to be less. And again, you are feeling more comfortable. So basically, you can watch now, say, whenever mind is attached to something, when something is grasping, there may be even some physical sensations available. Maybe even some tensed muscles in your face. So likewise, these are not very big things. The causes, you may be expecting something, as I said. You may be, your desires are not really implemented. The way you like is not the way the things have happened. And then you simply recognize, or you simply understand, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm all right with this situation. And you're fully aware of that. And simply let go of all the conditions. And coming back to yourself, and you accept, you acknowledge. And then you have peace of mind. You are not going to control as such. And more resting with yourself. More and more coming back to yourself. And that is where Buddha says, dukkha domanassanam attangamaya. In practicing of satipatthana, Buddha says he is promising, if you practice satipatthana, your suffering will be less and less. Your despair will be less and less. Your tension has to be less and less. So this is the way it is going down. Because now you have recognized, now you have found a friction-free place. There is some basic awareness, intuitive awareness, and you can simply rest there. So there is no grasping at all. But due to the influxes, what you call as asavas, so still mind has a nature of grasping. Because still things are internally available. When the causes are available, then immediately the mind, as a habit, it go and grasp. Now you feel the tension. During the grasping, when the mind has grasped, you feel the tension. And then you recognize this tension and you remove the grasping. So you let go of the grasping and coming back and rest with yourself. So more and more, so you have to appreciate this friction-free state, this basic awareness, being with yourself, kind of a quiet mind. And this is the place we need to nurture. This is the place we need to completely familiarize with. So this is the place that Buddha says, Pabassaramidam bhikkhave chittang tanchako agantukehu pakkilesehu pakkilittam. So monks, this mind is typically sort of free, typically unburdened, typically fairly pure. But because of these strange defilements, the defilement layer, it has become somewhat polluted. Now we are eliminating all these pollutants so that we are able to maintain this purity effortless. Now say in the beginning, you are touching this place with some effort, with some concentration. But more and more you recognize it, more and more you familiarize with it, and more you appreciate that place, and more it becomes your second nature. And ultimately it becomes your own nature. Not the second nature, it becomes yourself. So this is the basic awareness that Buddha asks us to maintain. There's different ways he has explained. Sometimes he explained this as anissita, where your mind is unassociated with anything. Because while you are here, you have the basic awareness, and mind is not interested of going after any sound. Mind is not interested of going after any sight. Mind is not interested of going after any kind of story. Rather, it likes to stay quiet. That is more comfortable. So, it may take long time. That's why, you can't do things immediately. Now we are in the prajna sikha, the wisdom side. So, the causes have to happen for a stress to arise. Causes has to happen, different defilement to arise. And then and there you have to recognize them. That's why constantly you have to guard the mind. Say you are talking to someone, you have to guard the mind. Say you are watching something, still you have to guard the mind. Say you are buying something at the shop, you have to guard the mind. Look at the mind, what's going on. I might get agitated when someone is telling something. While you say you are traveling, you have to look at the mind, what is happening really in the mind. So likewise, you have to have a kind of an attitude, constantly maintain some kind of a watching nature of the mind, while the other activities are going on, it is not that you let go of all the activities and completely dedicate yourself to watch the mind. That is, of course, has to do sometimes. Simply coming back to yourself, let go of everything. Now you are like charging up the battery. You are now somewhat nurturing the place 100%. But it is not the time that the defilements arise. Defilements are arising when you are dealing with others, when you are dealing with various difficult situations. So there you have to understand how still mind go and get angry. How again mind go and attach to someone. Again feel jealous of someone, or still feel like to show up yourself. Okay, to look down another person, or you want to prove yourself or something like that. So different maybe conceit related things. So all these 1001 types of defilements are available. So more and more you recognize them, more and more you become humble. You understand, okay, still things are there. The mind is really tempting, and again it's more and more defilements are still available. So then and there you have to recognize them and let them go. Recognize them, let them go. Recognize them, let them go. So ultimately mind become more and more pure. More and more pure, and you appreciate that purity. And that purity is, you still can't say it is permanent either. So permanency can happen only at the path fruition. So, but it's a kind of a fading side. So yeah, then and there you're cutting them, and you are coming, and then maybe, who knows, the path fruition can happen. So if we have the proper, all the conditions satisfied, so then the complete uprooting of certain defilements. So Buddha explained in different ways, say based on typically the traditional ways, the 10 fetters. So Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikicca, Silabbata, Paramasa. So those are the 3 fetters. When the one recognize and it related with the Ditthi, thinking that there is I, there is personality, there is ongoing soul or something like that in the body or in the mind. So more and more you recognize this nature, that thoughts are coming and going, the body is constantly changing, and you are not grasping any of these things. So you will lose that kind of a Ditthi. You will lose that kind of a wrong view, the personality view, thinking this body is me or mine. These thoughts are me or mine. The mind is me or mine. So likewise, there's some gross part. Slowly, that is the gross part. First, we may eliminate. So I wish that it may happen to you.
Another issue that I'm facing is when I'm talking.
Right.
I think I'm not very good at being mindful when I'm
Talking, yes. The thing is, when we are talking, we get involved in talking. So we are thinking to talk, what I am going to present. So you have to remember various facts, etc. So you are not well rested in that awareness. So actually recently I met Venerable Visuddho. He's a German monk. So actually all these days I was talking with him about these things. So it's very beautiful. So, but he also is telling is, now we have to rest in this awareness. Say for example, I am talking Dhamma. So if I have to remember various Pali terms and all the interpretations of them and all these things, so I can't rest here. So I always have to have some kind of an intellectual thing going on that will deviate me from this resting place. But the pure Dhamma is here. So if you can simply talk simply from your heart without referring to any of these, the facts, so that naturally the Dhamma has to come in a sort of a flawless, kind of a very undisturbed way. That is the excellent way. So that sometimes we can do, but not always. So maybe an Arahant can do, not me yet. So basically that is the point. So we have to recognize, so okay, these are available, possibilities are available, but we haven't nurtured it yet. Now we have recognized there's a resting place, there's a defilement-free place, there's a friction-free place, but we haven't yet nurtured it enough. So that mind automatically rests in there. So more and more we recognize, more and more we let go of all the defilements and all these things, the mind slowly come back there. So this is how it happens. So this is the path to develop. It may take time. So during the Buddha's time, say for example, one person recognized that place. Okay, now he constantly practice. Say during his whole lifetime, he can become a Sotapanna. That's all he could achieve. Suppose another person, he was practicing, he could achieve Sotapanna and Sagadagami both. Suppose another person, he was doing the same practice, he could achieve Soan, Sakadagami, Anagami, all three. Another person might have attained the complete enlightenment. So we don't know what is the potential we have. We don't know what are the conditions available, what are the paramis we have. So it's a little sort of subtle area where you can't recognize what is the capacity you have. Conditions have to be available. We have to be constantly vigilant about the mind. So many things are there. So therefore, but the path is the same. For a Sotapanna to become Sakadagami, the same thing to do. Sakadagami to become an Anagami, the same thing to do. Anagami to become an Arahant, the same thing to do. But how long it will take, whether it is 1 lifetime or 2 lifetime or maximum 7 lifetime for a Sotapanna, it's a matter of time. It's up to our own individual capacity, individual skills. So just we have to continue. Yes. Yeah, it's okay.
Sitting. Sat comfortably, move to observe breath. In-breath and out-breath visible. In-breath, rubbing sensation at edge of nostrils. Out-breath, warm. Beginning and end of both in-breath and out-breath, slow, gentle, almost non-existent. Pause between breaths, visible and widely. When pause takes over breaths, a bobbing movement in upper body starts. It's like a lizard bobbing. This bobbing also slow and gentle at beginning and end, middle, fast and rigorous. At the end of bobbing movement, sometimes a breath is visible, sometimes a pause is visible. Sitting session durations, upper body bobbing around 70%, pause around 20%, breath around 10%.
Bobbing? What is bobbing? Like this? Coming up and down?
Yes, like
up and down?
Yeah, bobbing like a lizard.
Lizard?
That's the...
Uh-huh.
Yeah, bobbing like a lizard.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I observed this bobbing moment during day-to-day activities a couple of times. Walked couple of ups and downs without denoting, familiarizing the path. Denoted left, right, another couple of ups and downs. See a slight difference in length of 2 legs. Right leg seems little longer than left. Hence I see right leg move slowly and left faster. There is a bending and unbending moment visible. When this moment is visible, feeling of touch of foot with ground is difficult. Today's walking, I saw this bending, unbending moment getting smoother and more gentle. Walking is effortless, autonomous during many instances. Mindfulness in day-to-day. I look at the status of breath during moments that I stay seated and still, like sitting in office. During meetings, sitting in traffic, in toilet, feeding the baby, etc. Most of the times, breath is settled. It is the pause that's visible. A slow and subtle in-breath or out-breath will come followed by a pause. I also see the status of mind in these times. It feels still and empty. It is such a comfortable state. More and more I am convinced that no physical pleasure in the world will derive discomfort. Subtle variations in status of the mind can be observed as below. Getting late for work, When I look at the clock, I can see the anger rising in me and diminishing and the mind becoming still again in few seconds. When I am biting into a delicacy, the liking and the wanting to have more rushing in and diminishing and mind becoming to the status as before. I also see the instances where boredom and uneasiness kicks in, identify as boredom or uneasiness, and mind comes back to normal status. It is more like seeing rather than looking. These identifications are like passing clouds, coming, identifying, and going, and they feel instant and not so close and they feel distant and not so close and harsh. Now only I realize how close and harsh each of them were and how badly I have been victimized.
Sorry, the last statement?
These identifications are like passing clouds, coming, identifying, and going.
Right.
And they feel distant and not so close and harsh.
Harsh. Right.
Now only I realize how close and harsh each of them were and how badly I have been victimized.
Right.
Changes in lifestyle to assist mindful living. No television set at home for 2 years. No alcohol for 2+ years. Taking 2 additional precepts to 5 precepts. Refraining from use of harsh language, Vacha, and refraining from talking about others, Vacha. No talking about or persuading friends or relatives into mindfulness.
Sorry?
Into mindfulness.
Sorry, please repeat that.
No talking about or persuading friends or relatives into mindfulness.
so it's so uncomfortable maybe then. It's very difficult to persuade them. Right.
Question. During the practice, have encountered many changing phases. In the beginning, they are unfamiliar and uncomfortable. With practice, they become familiar, comfortable, and enjoyable. I am beginning to like this changing nature in practice. Is this clinging?
Is this clinging? So images or clinging to images? May I know whose question is this? Right. So when you are mentioning that clinging to what, if that statement, if you can little be specific.
I know the things are going to change, they are not permanent.
Right.
For example, sitting, it's when it comes to the basic breath, basic pause, basic swinging, bobbing movement.
Was that how you bobbing, right? Could you explain a little bit more? I am not familiar with what you are telling.
I feel it's like this.
Right. So at that time, are you watching the breath or any kind of sensation in the body? So what are you watching at that time?
I watch the moment.
Watch the moment. So, but as far as I can remember from your previous discussions, were you able to recognize that resting place that we discussed during the last question?
That is complete.
Complete what?
Earlier, we saw breath in the beginning and
Right.
settling.
Right.
And going to like a dark, settled place.
Right.
That is complete.
Completely changed. Now what you have?
I see this swinging movement a lot. And breath pieces, bits and pieces of breath.
Right. So, by the way, during the previous occasion, when you recognized that complete peace kind of thing, what was the practice you were familiar to do? Walking. So, at that time, what you are observing? Yes.
The patch of ground is light.
Mm-hmm.
And walking is like effortless.
Right.
And sort of compromise.
Right. Okay. So, how long you observed that?
Walking,
Yes. In the sense, for how many years, like? Not within say 1 hour or something. What I am asking is for a considerable period. Do you observe in the similar way?
After hours of 10
months. Okay. Constantly, even during at your home, you do practice.
Yes, daily I do walking.
Right.
Sitting is like once or twice.
That how long? Like 1 hour? 1 hour, 1 hour? Right. So at that time, what is the observation? Are you watching the sensation in the body, or is this only the swinging movement that you are constantly observing?
I saw this swinging movement about 10-15 sittings back.
Right.
So forever since, I've been seeing this a lot. So what is visible most of the time is the swinging movement.
Right.
When first it happened, I like, that's what I asked.
You like it?
I like the changing nature of this practice.
Right.
I like whatever the change that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when you see, when I saw the swinging properly, all the time it's bugging. It's
Right.
difficult, physically exhausting.
It
becomes difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's not, I'm not yet fully comfortable with that swinging moment. It has happened to me before during breath talks. So that breath disappeared, it was difficult.
Yeah.
Now it's not difficult, it's like home.
So you mean the disappearing of the breath home to you, or the swinging home to you?
Swinging is not home to me yet.
Right. But the breath.
Is like
So basically, now say if I reiterate, now say you are looking at the breath, so breath becomes calm and it becomes subtle and then it completely disappears. So you can maintain this sort of concentration for some time. Are you able to maintain this for some time?
it converts to the swinging.
That's the thing. Okay, it converts to this thing. Are there any touching places are you able to recognize at that time? Now say for example, the elements, they manifest in different ways. So these movements are actually manifestation of the air element. But there are other elements available which give you fair amount of steadiness. Say for example, if you simply recognize this warmth, this available in between two hands, so that is one element that you can recognize. Element characteristics one you can recognize. Say again, if you are touching the cushion, there's a kind of a pressure available. So if you recognize that pressure point, that's another place available. And again, there's a heaviness available to the body. So if you can recognize that, that's another parameter. And again, say your foots are touching together, there may be kind of a stiffness, kind of a hardness you might feel. So that's another parameter that you can recognize. So you can, rather than simply being with this swinging movement, so you locate your attention onto those places as well.
I that because I heard the same Dhamma given to another person. So
Right.
I thought I would also try.
Right.
With the settling of breath.
Yes.
Settle breath seems monotonous and the thoughts arise.
Right.
I tried that. It was not really successful.
Yeah. So you are very much like, are you feeling simply like surface level touching? I mean, you are simply surveilling the situation but not recognizing really what is there. Is it what happened? Cut going. Okay. No, that is the way it happens at the beginning. So at that time you should not discourage yourself. Rather you have to refine your mindfulness and observe closely. So because thing is, if the mind is not refined yet, if you don't have fair amount of clear comprehension, sampajanya, your mind is still little gross. So you can't see the subtle differences, subtle details available in the process. Say for example, suppose you are watching feeling. Say there's a little painful feeling available at your knee. Now we are simply watching it. At the very instance, you can't recognize all the different facets of this feeling. But again and again you are practicing it. Again and again you are practicing it. Again you are refining mindfulness. You do walking and all again observations. As a result, you may feel this is not one unit of feeling, rather it may have a bundle of little feelings. It's a bunch like. So this recognition happened with time. But if you simply at the very beginning, if you given up, okay, it's just a feeling, that's all, and then you give it up, you won't reach this stage. So therefore you have to constantly watch it till you get more clarity, till you get more details, subtle details. Then suppose, say for example, I am keeping my hand like this. At the beginning, if you look at from the outside, from far away, it appears like one unit. But now if you come very closer, it appears now there are 5 fingers available. And there are distance in between, kind of a gap bit available in between. So in order to recognize that, you need to have a fairly high mindfulness, very refined mindfulness. Clear comprehension we call it, sampajanya. Then only you can see each and every subtle, this feeling, say so to speak about the feeling, how each and every one arising and passing away. So it's a very very refined level we are talking. It is not say you have a headache in the morning and in the afternoon as a result of having a Panadol you get out of the headache. That is not what I am talking. But rather when you have this subtle sensation or subtle feeling available, at that time you are watching it very carefully, very closely, and because of the clarity of the mind, the refined, concentrated mind, now you are able to distinguish even little characteristics available to that feeling. Now each and every feeling, for example, arising and passing away. So the good simile Buddha is giving for feeling, for example, is say for example there's a reservoir, to that there's a heavy rain falling, the heavy rain. Each and every raindrop causes a water bubble to come up and then burst. The heavy rain, another raindrop dropping, touching the surface of the water, then immediately water bubble pops up and then burst. So likewise, Buddha giving the simile for feeling. So yogis can experience this state really when they are closely look at the feeling. So similar effect is there for most of the sensations. They appear like one unit. They appear like one thing. But more you closely watch them, more you carefully observe them, you recognize they are not one. There are many available. Many subtle things are available. So then only you have to come to that state. So therefore, don't give up observing various say for example the heat or the touching sensations or the pressure points and all these things. So more your mindfulness develop, more the concentration develop, so you are able to see more details of them. So that would be more important. So that will lead to a more better understanding, better wisdom than simply watching them from the surface level. So that is one thing that you have to improve. On the other hand, in the walking session, so are you constantly watching simply the hardness or something that you said something you are observing, right? That's all touch of it. That's constantly what you did.
Yes, then I saw this bending and unbending sort of movement.
Right.
As if the right leg is little longer than the left leg and
Right.
one leg.
Right. So see now, say for example, now suppose I am walking on this floor. Now immediately probably it may be hard. So I can recognize that. That may be my immediate recognition. That is the one characteristic of the elements. But if I closely watch it, probably I might be able to feel the softness as well. Now this is a very polished surface, so I can feel the softness also. Similarly, compared to some say heated area, this may be cool. So I might be able to feel the coolness as well. But at the very instant, I couldn't. I only felt the hardness. Similarly, whatever the sensation we observe, at the very beginning we can't recognize all these different element characteristics. More and more we have refined mindfulness, and more we try to feel more, catch more details, then only these skills get developed. So you have to go in that path. So develop in that path, then I think you can go to further, more advanced states then.
In walking actually,
Right.
And the coldness and cold.
Right.
Basically cold.
Right. So all these things also see how they, yeah.
Later, when I do, almost like all the walking sessions, the feeling, the harshness, the roughness of the feeling diminishes.
Correct.
Becomes more
Gentle.
light.
Fine. That's right. That's all right. So you shouldn't purposely make them rough. You shouldn't purposely make them. Things become more and more gentle, more and more soft. That's all right. And simply you feel effortless now. The walking happens. You simply watch like an outsider. That's all right. That has to happen. And even at that time, if mind completely gives it up, watching and simply like to rest, even that's also fine. So that's what I discussed in the earlier question. So this basic awareness is something still available, maybe. So things are, you observe the mind is going through all these things, and there may be a situation mind gives it up and coming back to its own awareness, basic awareness. That's also maybe possible, but you have to practice and see. Yeah.
Like I would say, like I see the coming and going away of different sensations.
Right.
Earlier in the beginning, I could see the rough ones. I would be very angry, or I like things. Now I see very subtle things and almost like predictable.
Correct.
Okay, I feel it.
Yes.
Now I'm going to get angry, and it doesn't even properly.
Correct. So that is the development of mindfulness. Same. Basically, before we develop mindfulness, we get into emotions immediately. So we get to know that we are angry only when we had it, we burning at that time. But more we develop mindfulness, when we are about to get angry, we recognize, okay, now guy is trying to burn me. So he recognized that, then you can let go of. So that is the development of mindfulness. So that's a good sign. Yeah. That's all right. So more and more, any of these feelings, any of these defilements, now you are recognizing at the initial stages. That's a good thing. So I think you have to continue and see more detail in all the activities, or rather the observations. Then the mind will be more refined. Your clear comprehension will be more improved. And then if you are able to recognize, as I explained in the Vedana, where you have many sensations, many feelings available, and each and every of them arising and passing away, if you are able to see that, that's the best. Yeah. That's the direction you have to move further. Yeah.
Sometimes I see situations in life that happens, unpredictable situations, sudden case situation. I'm able to see without being bothered so much. Like one day I saw my little kid, 1 year old, got big in the bathtub and came out. And I was like fully present. I was not bothered. And I haven't told anyone.
Yeah, he may be a good diver, maybe.
So this type of difficult situation. One day I was carrying her, and the dog came and hit me here, and I saw my knee bent in, and I fall down, and the baby let go of the hand, and then she fell.
Right.
And throughout that process, I was present. I was
Right.
not
But you are not panicked.
Not panicked.
Yes.
Similarly, there were other instances also like that. I fell one day with the baby from a swing, and that also I saw that there were like two pockets.
To what?
Two pockets of places, like completely blank. I had no memory.
That's natural. And basically, that's what typically happens. More and more you recognize all these things, there may be a possibility of coming to that state where your mind is not grasping anything. So that will naturally happen. So at the beginning it appears like complete blank state, unconscious state or something like that. But yes, not uncomfortable, but appears like unconscious, and you lost your something or something like that. Yeah, you continue. The thing is still the mindfulness haven't yet developed enough to be present at that time, be awake at that time. So more and more, that's why I asked you to develop further mindfulness, the refined mindfulness, so that even when the mind goes to the non-grasping state, still you are fully vigilant, still you are fully present, you are fully awake. It is not that you lost, it is not that you are unconscious. So this awakefulness has a strong relationship with the mindfulness. More and more you mindful indicates more and more awake. So typically what happens is yogis go through some concentration, and through that they go into some kind of an objectless state, and there the mindfulness is not refined yet, mindfulness is not developed yet. So it appears like an unconscious state. So you have to awake for this sleep. Sometimes Bhante Dhammaji used to say, you have to awake for the sleep. That's a kind of a sleeping state, you have to awake for that. So this is a kind of a situation. This awakefulness happens with the practice. Awakefulness happens with the development of the mindfulness. So more and more you develop mindfulness, even these non-grasping states are still, you are vigilant, you are fully present, but mind has nothing to grasp. Mind has its own freedom. Nothing to grasp. Typically for the mind to be present, it needs something to attach. Associating something only it is present. But still mind can be present without an object. So this is another area of vipassana. That slowly we are stepping in. So at the beginning you are, it appears like a puzzle. Yeah, it appears like in a different domain like. But slowly you getting familiarized with it, and you are developing mindfulness, and ultimately it become a natural thing. So just continue, carry on and see more detail. That is the most critical thing. Yes. Yeah.
Most Venerable Swami Mahansa, walking meditation. Now I am practicing walking meditation without observing left and right, but maintaining the mindfulness. Example, I am aware that I am walking and not sitting or standing. While I am walking, I see the roughness and the softness of the sand, also the warmth and coldness. I observe when one heel touches the ground, the other leg toe is moving up from the ground. Also I could bear the sound when my feet were pressing the sand. Also I could hear the sound when my feet were pressing the sand. At the turning point, I feel my both soles are on the ground. Though I was looking at the ground, I saw people were passing me, but I could maintain mindfulness. Sometimes I realized that I am not mindful and getting lots of thoughts, but easily I could come back to the present moment. At that time, I was very happy and relaxed. This is happening always, and I used to it now. As I know nothing is constant, everything happens according to Anitya, Dukkha, Anatta. Sometimes, after about 15 minutes, I feel sleepy and walking like a puppet. But with a great calmness, I could hear the background sounds and aware of I am walking. Then I stop walking and start the sitting meditation. Day-to-day work. When I am doing my usual work, now most of the time I can be mindful, and automatically SMS is also applied. Because of that, I can do my work properly as well as without disturbing anyone. I feel great peacefulness. I get lots of thoughts. At certain level, I can understand whether those thoughts are karma or raga or dvesha. So try my best to take my mind to the present moment. Now, most of the time, I am dealing with Dhamma and mindfulness. Thero Nissarana, Venerable Swami Mahansa. May you attain the supreme bliss of Nissarana.
Yeah, you too.
Venerable Bhante, question number 1. Is Vipassana meditation same as Vidarshana meditation, stroke walking meditation? Is there a difference in these two or is it the same?
Yeah, Vipassana is the Pali term, Vidarshana is the typical translation of Sinhala term for Vipassana. And the walking is not only the Vipassana, walking meditation, sitting meditation and all these things are different practices, and it doesn't necessarily mean that for Vipassana yogi to practice, he doesn't necessary to be to sit or walk. You can do Vipassana practice in any posture. But for a beginner, when you are starting, walking and sitting is the easy postures to start up. But now, say for example, just previously we discussed about watching the mind. It doesn't indicate any kind of a specific posture. You have to watch the mind at any posture, because it is not that defilements are arising only while sitting. If it is so, then you can simply watch while in sitting. So there is no excuse for defilements. So there is no specific posture that defilements are telling, okay, I am coming only at this posture. If that is the case, it's pretty good. But it is not the situation. Yeah.
Number 2, I have been practicing samatha for a long time. Apart from Anapanasati and Maitri Bhavana, is there any other meditation I could practice staying at one place? This is due to the lack of space, hence being limited with walking meditation.
So I invite you to Kalalgoda. Look, more and more be with Kalalgoda. We have enough space in Kalalgoda for walking meditation. Because I can't see any kind of alternative for walking meditation, because it is so powerful and it reduces the stress so quickly, and it gives you enough development of the mindfulness. And the disadvantage or the drawback in sitting, it is more tends towards the concentration. You know, there are 5 faculties Buddha has mentioned: Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Saddha is the faith, Virya is the effort, Sati is the mindfulness, Samadhi is the concentration, Panya is the wisdom. So among them, among them Sati, Samadhi and Panya is most important. Mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. If you purely practice sitting, there's a higher tendency that the concentration come to the front, not the mindfulness. So the mindfulness coming to the front is quite important. So therefore, walking meditation gives that facility, because it's you are practicing in a little disturbing environment. So it is very unlikely that you are going to an extremely deep concentration. But still, amidst all these different difficulties, still your mind can be mindful about something. Say your foot is touching, say your left foot is touching the ground. At the same time, you can watch someone is walking. At the same time, you can hear that monkey is jumping. But still, you are capable of keeping your attention at your left foot. That's a very good skill. So that requires fair amount of skill, and that takes the mindfulness to the front. That is most important. So therefore, you have to find out various alternative methods how to support walking meditation, and I highly recommend that. And actually, while walking also, you have to see the different sensations arising and passing away, and even while in the sitting, you have to come to that stage. So then walking and sitting are very much equal. So it's a matter of change in the posture, and there is no big difference. Till that, at least you have to practice all these two alternatively, so that both skills are being developed.
Sir, much appreciate if you could explain breath meditation in relation to mindfulness meditation. What I mean here is, when one is doing sitting or walking meditation, if one tends to observe bodily sensations apart from primary objective, whether one should bring the attention forcefully towards primary objective or to continue. Much blessings.
No, actually the mindfulness can be developed in various ways. So, breath meditation is one technique. Different techniques are available. Walking meditation is one technique. Say, rising and, so this, rising and falling of the abdomen is another technique. Say, you being mindful while you are doing something, some activity is another technique. Say, you are washing a dish, or you are looking after a baby, or you are sweeping or something. So all these different activities you can contribute to develop mindfulness. So all these are different activities, different tools available for you to develop mindfulness. So it is not the tool important, that we don't need to argue each other which is the best technique, best tool available. So different tools are available. Different tools may be proper for one person and not much effective for another person. It depends on our own temperament, our own different characters. So we can find out what is the most suitable technique available for us. And among them, breath meditation is one of the brilliant method available for many yogis. And rising and falling is very similar to that. So these two techniques are well tested and practiced by millions of yogis. Yeah.
Yes, really wanted to explain the question. Pass the mic to her.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was also explaining last week according to this concept that in different outfit, he explains coming as a vegetable.
Yes.
So actually I'm practicing meditation from last year, almost every day.
Right.
So that is not a problem, just a clarification.
Yes.
I can see only the P and the N.
Right.
But I never touch the
Starting point. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm telling it's not a question, but sometimes
Uncomfortable. Either am I missing something? Where's the beginning?
So, but I do my meditation very well. Like
Right.
I like meditation
Right.
in the morning and sitting meditation. I do it. Like I can feel the Dhamma changing, everything.
Yeah.
But this is, I'm just thinking, because I heard that from the Saminas as well. So I was just trying to figure out where the
Start.
line I thought of asking from you. I'm scared to ask from the Saminas.
No, I think, are you capable of finding the gap between the in-breath and out-breath?
Yes.
Okay, then that's very much alright then. Because, even though we are telling that you have to figure out the beginning, the middle and the end, and if most possible, the gap in between the in-breath and out-breath, small gap, and that indicates the complete cycle. But, the complete cycle might be available for a beginner more than a practitioner, more than an experienced yogi. Because for an experienced yogi, things happen very quickly. For a beginner, maybe things happening very slowly, step by step. For example, for a beginner to settle down breath, it may take, say, 45 minutes. But for a practice yogi, experienced yogi, the settling might happen within 10 minutes. So you might not go through all these different stages explained in the sutta. So, but
most of the time, when I feel the breath in and out,
yeah.
like 5 minutes or this and that, I go to the Dhamma.
Yes.
And keep on going.
Yes.
Like a cycle. Like
Correct.
The pain comes, then the healing. So I'm not scared.
Yes.
Just sitting and very comfortably and breathing.
Correct.
Right? Science and the other one, actually, this is Nissarana.
Yes.
I don't know if the word is Nissarana is, I'm just thinking the starting is this.
No, Kaya Anupassana. This is Kaya Anupassana. We are in the, say, breath meditation, as well as actually the first four parts of breath meditation related to the Kaya Anupassana. And again, the Dhatu Manasikara is in Kaya Anupassana. Yes. So what's your question?
My question is, what's the word of
Naya Vipassana? Your Naya Vipassana is a different thing, where, say, for example, you are watching the, say, feelings of your body. And then suppose you are practicing that for a long time, and you have a fair understanding about the feelings, how they are coming and how they are changing, whether you have a control and all these things, different things, you have some fair understanding about them. Now, can you understand whether it is happening differently to another person, or is it to the similar way, similar fashion to another person? What do you think?
I think the similar way.
Why? How are you telling that?
Because I listen a lot of Dhamma.
No.
I discuss with friends.
Right.
They are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
Same thing is available. So that is the Naya Vipassana actually. So you first...
I'm just imagining.
No, not really imagine. First you practice yourself. You take your body as the experimental apparatus. This is the apparatus for you, and you practice with this, and you do all your experiment, but the similar thing is available for another person as well. That's the thing. So Buddha says, it's related to the Dhatu Manasikara, Buddha says internal earth element and the external earth element are the same earth element. Internal water element, external water element are the same water element. So likewise, even though we have given different names, so earth element, water element, they don't know any name. So, but we observe different those behaviors of earth element within ourselves. So ultimately we understand, okay, this is the nature. So what I feel here is similar to another person as well. And how they are changing in even the physical world is the same. Yeah. So it's very much like inferential knowledge. Naya Vipassana is the inferential knowledge. Yeah.
And the other thing I'm thinking now, every day I do Bhavana, like morning, I'm in free life. So I'm thinking always coming these pains and everything. Like every day the same thing.
Yes. So
That's not good.
you have to practice till the end comes. See, now say for example, suppose there's a leaking tap available. Every 1 minute, one drop happens. One drop comes and collect. Okay, you are keeping a vessel underneath. And one day you look at and only very tiny bit has filled. Next day also you go there and another tiny bit has filled. And you are complaining, is there a time going to get it completely filled? It will. It will, but not yet. So that's the thing. So therefore, we can't say how our maturity happens. So the mind has to naturally develop. I mean, we can read 1001 books. We can listen to so many Dhamma sermons. They will tell you what's the next stage. But mind is not yet mature to achieve that state, to experience that state. So that is why that is the practicality of the meditation, where the experiential knowledge is more important than all this academical knowledge or intellectual knowledge. So even though you have read 1001 books, the mind does not recognize it. So we are in the surface. That knowledge is only in the surface level. As a kid, nurturing, so mind we have to nurture. Every day we are nurturing. And once the mind recognizes it, you don't even need to tell it to go to the next stage. It will be there.
Actually, sometimes I can feel my day-to-day life is completely I was a temporary person. Now, not at all.
Yeah.
So my husband's
No complaints now.
I can feel
So all the husbands can send their wives here then. Less complaints.
I can feel like when I'm getting angry, I'm like, okay, now I must stop that. Even like day-to-day work, I feel really comfortable. And earlier I was really lazy to do walking meditation. Now I can feel that when I do more and more walking meditation, I feel like mindfulness is increasing. It's really
Correct.
helped me now.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought like, okay, doing meditation, I'm giving an advantage.
Yes. So that's why, I mean, if the real Vipassana practically developing, you have to feel that behavioral changes within yourself. Within yourself, you have to feel these behavioral changes, character changes happens. That indicates the meditation is developing. If these things are not available, then you are only doing some surface level. So you are not really practicing. So if you can feel all these things, that means you are in the correct path, and you simply continue that. So, there is no point of rushing through, because even though we rush, things may not happen. It is waste of time, rush. Rather, simply day to day we have to practice. It's a matter of continuing the daily practice. That's the most important thing, without expecting much results. If you are continuing your daily practice, then ultimately you may come to the result without any stress. You are not expecting something, you are quite happy about the daily practice. You are quite happy, you are satisfied, and you are comfortably doing it. So that's all we have to do. So while your left foot is touching, be 100% with left. Don't expect the right.
Those days I used to suffer a lot.
Mm.
Even my son is not talking to me once per day, at least one call. I was so upset. Now I don't care about it. So it's automatically, but I'm doing it purposely.
Correct. Yes. So that's why I am telling these behavior changes are indications that the meditation is maturing. Vipassana is maturing. Your mind is now letting go slowly. It is going in the proper path. It's less grasping. You are less feeling them as personal. So likewise, you are going in. You are nurturing the mind in different ways. So that's in the proper path. So you just have to continue. So don't discourage yourself thinking I am every day practicing, nothing happen. There are things happening. Now you are telling that. So basically, we have to understand it is not that magics happen. So if we are expecting magics to happen, magics may not happen. But the behavior may change, your maturity may increase, the mind starts to become less stressed, less burdened, and less suffering, less tensed, and all these things are very valuable, assets, very valuable skills that we are developing. But there may not be any kind of a exploding, kind of floating and flying kind of things happen. Yeah. I think we have spent a fair amount of time today. I think there is no any other question. So we like. You have something? Watching the what? Yes.
Watching, can see coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
Still continuing watching. Can it feel like an energy there?
Energy there. Can. Correct.
Yeah. Start the whole energy that way.
Yes, you can. But on the other hand, as far as I can remember from your practice that you have explained last time, you are able to let go of this and maintain your mind at a peaceful state. Did you? True. But the thing is, even when that pain is available, if you are able to touch that peaceful state, don't go back and observe the pain. Right.
On the pain and watching the pain, because past this I was on the pain.
Right.
And watching the pain.
Right.
Then I can see the slight pain as now what they explained to me. Just waterfall.
Right.
Can feel like this.
Correct.
I continuously watching that place.
Right.
Then I felt like an energy in that place.
Can definitely can, because you can't name it. You can't name. Yeah.
Not meditating.
Yeah. So no, thing is now. This is actually meditating. Yes. Dhatu Manasikara also doesn't require any specific posture. So Buddha says anyway, any kind of posture is a valid posture for element meditation. So you can watch it while standing, walking, sitting, lying down, any posture. So I mean, what this is also not a bad thing. You simply observe them, how they are changing, how they are disappearing, all these things. You observe, more and more wisdom develop, and there may be a situation that mind let go of this and come back to a kind of a calmness.
This is not Dhatumansikara, but my leg pain.
Yeah, this is Vedananupasana, very much like.
Also Dhatumansikara.
Actually, this is very much together. Now, when you look at from this angle, you see Dhatu Manasikara. When you look at from the other angle, you see Vedananupasana. Right.
Past days I was watching the Vedana and I saw like that, like this part you can see like energy.
Right. No problem. I mean, are you able to maintain kind of an equanimous mind while watching?
Yeah, not like before, not just watching and thinking it's not mine, this cause and effect, it must have, whole leg is not so big, once pain maybe something, cause and effect, and all these things, something is happening.
Yeah, if possible, I mean, don't import those information, rather see how they are happening.
Yeah.
Say, for example, if for you to understand the impermanence, you don't need to reflect about a sutta, rather you can simply see how pains are rising and passing away. So they are showing the impermanence. So it is there. So similarly, say if you are able to see how certain causes are making that pain. So there's a kind of a touching or some kind of a rubbing or kind of such kind of a contact happens. As a result, there's a pain happens. So if you are able to see that causal nature, this contact causes the pain, contact causes the feeling. So then you see that the causal nature. So it is available here. Not that you have to recall some theory in the mind, rather while watching you recognize it. That was okay, then we'll wind up the question and answer session. Thank you very much for active participation, and we'll meet for Dhamma sermon at around 4 p.m. Yeah, 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. Yes. Right, Sukhi Hotu. Yeah. Sukhi Hotu. Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami. Sadhu Anumoditabbang. Kamami Kamitabbang. Sukhi Hotu Nibbana Paccayo Hotu. Sukhi Hotu Nibbana Paccayo Hotu. Sukhi Hotu Nibbana Paccayo Hotu.